You are watching Generation of Peacemakers channel. I'm your host, Jobina Beck, and we are so excited to be back in our studio again tonight. We have our wonderful guest, Kaleem Shahzad, who's actually going to be sharing about his testimony and about his vision, about how all of this came about. Generation of Peacemakers, Holy Light Foundations, Lavish. And so, Kaleem, we welcome you back into the channel, into the studio. How are you doing? How's your day?
Yes, I'm very doing well, and the day was very blessed, and we are just driving home and to the studio. And thank you very much for you first to come here and to visit Pakistan and to care for this nation. And your heart is really amazing, because that's the heart of God for every nation. So thank you very much for honoring us and for honoring this nation of Pakistan. And we believe that one day it's going to be changed. God is bringing transformation into this nation, and the revolution of the spiritual revolution and the gospel revolution in this country, in this nation of Pakistan. So thank you very much for doing this show, and to listen my heart and to listen other people's heart. So thank you. It's amazing.
Thank you. So let's dive right into, the other day when we did a show, we were discussing about, it was actually the age of 11 that you had encounter with God, or it was that you were actually born into a Sikh family. Tell us a little bit about your testimony, like what actually happened at age 11. What did God show you, and where did this all come from, this massive vision?
Yes.
Just give us a little taste of the goodness of God for your life.
We as a humans are affected or defected, what we will say, with the sinful nature.
Right.
Okay, like every person fall, did sin, and that's the grace of God that change a person,
Right.
or bring reformation in a person's social life or spiritual life. So that's only God. So we born in families in different religions, are just born in a family, like many people are, or do not care about the religion. So we're just born as a child in a family, and we live our life. So the same I was. I born into a Christian family that was already converted from Sikhism, okay, from Sikh to Christianity. My grandfather, who accepted Jesus Christ, and he was converted into Christianity. So I was born into Christian family.
One thing, sorry to interrupt you, but could you just tell our audience, just because most people probably don't know, what is Sikhism? Like the main root of Sikhism, what's the difference? Obviously they believe in other gods.
Sikhism is like a branch of Hinduism. Okay, like because it was all Hindustan. So the people of Hindustan were worshipping different idols, different gods. So the Sikhism is like the same, but their focus is on Guru. Guru Nanak was a person also who was focused on God in spirituality. So his focus was on spirituality. So Sikh are those people who follow the Guru, like they do good things, believe in other gods. So that is Sikhism.
Now,
and they also, the biggest thing is they also do
right?
baptism. They think that they are the lions. So therefore it calls Singh. Singh means lion. So Sikh, we are called Sikh because it's brave people, very brave people, and they always have sword. They are not Muslims. And here I want to make a comment that every religion, okay, whatever religion is in the world, that is come from, or born from, take a birth from the truth. Satan mold that truth and make different steps.
Right.
So like Sikh, they also do baptism. Okay, but they do not know actual what meaning is of the baptism. So in my childhood, I born into Christian family, like a normal child. I had a very normal life. My father was a teacher, and going to school and all this stuff, and then attending church. Normal, very normal. Listening to stories, Abraham, and my father is very, a storyteller, a Bible storyteller, and he always talk about different stories, Adam, Noah. So these are Bible stories. So we were listening, and we were very, like in my childhood, we remember all those stories. So that was very normal for us. Then we were taking a part in the church activities. We were winning, me and my sister. We always win. Like there were other people also in the competition who were older than us, mature people. But we were those like people. We sometimes there were competition to memorize the chapter, whole chapter, and you have to speak it, and you are giving the numbers by the judges and all this stuff.
Right.
So we were those who come first, second, and the other people come. The other take other positions. So we were very active in their religious thing.
Right.
I will include it in a religion thing, because until we know God, we are not truly Christians. So I was good child, as a normal, and every human had a nature or sinful nature. So I had that good, and when God touched me, and God changed my life, I didn't know what happened to me, and I start to.
But bring us back to that moment. Do you actually remember the day that everything changed for you? Like you remember when all of a sudden it wasn't like you were just living that normal routine Christian life, but like the Spirit of God fell on you and everything changed. Do you remember that moment?
It was actually because I knew that these are the stories of the Bible, and then I knew that because my Muslim friends are, so I knew about that they were too, and I knew that they worship a prophet, their prophet, Islamic prophet. So for me, I knew that I worship true God. Okay, they think but I had something like they are worshiping still a man, but I am not worshiping a man. So what happened with me from God, the Spirit of God started to touch me, and I started to share things with my Muslim friend. He was older than me, and I started to share things with him. No, that's not what you are doing. Like they do not. I said no. You have to worship God, not to the man. So there were these things what I was
telling. So there was like a revelations that was stirring you every day? It wasn't like one day.
It was a process. It was a process.
Okay.
So I was just telling him the truth, what I have. So in that all process, I was touching by the God. Then what happened? We start to go to Christian prayer worship meetings, and then to the healing crusade. We start to go there. And there was one meeting where I was praying, because I knew that I know God. Okay, so that time I was 13 years old, and I was praying to God. Oh God, please touch my friend. Okay, he's Muslim. And he was that time like 15 or 16 years old when I was 13. So I was praying to him, and God touch him. Okay, but in that moment, Spirit started to touch me. And I hold his hand, and we went, like first we were sitting in the chair, okay, because in our family has already so much respect in our native city, we will say. So in that city we have a lot of respect in the Pakistan, and even in the Sahiwal. But people from, because there was a main Ministry of Land Fellowship International where Sister Manindiki also spoke. Okay, that is only the first ministries which bring some change in different regions of Pakistan. So we were in there, and their main directors are the city coordinators. We had a family relationship, so they honor us. So we were sitting on the chairs, and then I hold my friend's hand and I take him on the knees. I was on the knees, he was on the knees, and nobody knew. Not I'm hearing him, not I think he is hearing me. We were totally in the Spirit. And we were praying, and something was shifted in us. Okay, and we, after the prayer, how many hours the worship was going on, the message was going on, but we were in the prayer. And after that, we hugged each other and love, and we had so much spiritual thing, and that was the thing that God more changed us. We were already discussing about the Bible, and I was telling him about the truth about the Bible, these things, but that was the where the Spirit started to touch us. And that time, Brother Anasmal, so there is.
Yeah, we're having flies here. Sorry,
Yeah.
guys.
So there was a Brother Anasmal. Actually, he was.
Oh, the one that's your favorite.
Yeah, and I like him so much.
Right.
Yeah.
Totally filled with the Spirit.
Yeah, and he is also the brother of my mother's childhood friend, and he is very spiritual. In like Sister Marilyn Hickey, yeah, Sister Marilyn Hickey called him the David of this period.
Oh, wow.
Okay, so that much
So
united.
she got to meet him.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did he sing at her meetings?
yeah,
So now, that friend of yours, was that the one that got converted?
yeah,
Okay, is that also the one that was poisoned?
yeah.
Yeah.
And
So he was poisoned by his family because
Yeah,
he converted to
after a
Christianity.
few years, when his family knew about that.
So it was hidden. He kept it hidden.
Yes, it was hidden. Like it was something like that. That whenever I was going to my grandmother village, okay, and because we arranged the meeting there, I was child, like a teenage, but all of my family and other people who ever knew me, they were giving me so much respect because I had such a spiritual touch, like. And I was a good speaker in that time, and so whenever I go to my grandmother home, there was a prayer meeting arranged, like how a priest, and there my friend actually came, and he comes sometime to my home also for prayer, and we had that fellowship there.
Yeah.
So that was the time when his family knew about him, that he is converted into Christianity. So they gave him the poison into the food, and that time also he came to me at my home, like he drive the motorbike and he came to me, and we went into a prayer and I prayed for him, and then he vomited, so the poison came out and God saved his life.
Yeah.
And he even said, because he was also a strong Christian,
Yeah.
so he said that whatever that's written in the Bible, that what if they will give you poison to drink, God will save.
Amen.
So that happened that time.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that's beautiful. What are some of the, as far as your vision, and it being so big, obviously I know this has been a process. Actually, it's a beautiful story, unraveling of just this love relationship that you have with our Heavenly Father, and how God was using you in so many different ways. And also, there was more churches that you were getting invited to go to, and everybody was just coming after you as a young person, right? Obviously, we know that God can use anybody. And you had no fear, though, right? I mean, you had no fear of death. And didn't God tell you at a young age that even if you die, He would bring you back to life, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, that's true. Being a Christian, also we believe that if we die in Christ, we will be risen. Many Christians believe that, but still, in practicality, like they are not doing that. When I was a child, okay, and when I was preaching to Muslims, that time also these verses in the Matthew, the Gospel of the Matthew, I think it's written. So that time also it was said, Jesus said that do not have fear of those who can kill the bodies. Fear of him who can kill the body and the spirit. And that is only God. So I had never the fear in my heart that people will kill me. Even there was a moment when I was a manager in the factory, okay, few years before, and the people threatened me there, and they said that they will shoot me, and I told them that nothing will happen to me. Even if you will put the gun on my head, still God can save me. So I had that belief in God.
And you weren't just saying it as words, and trembling on the inside, you were confidently
Of course.
100% like, I will give my life for my God. It
Yes,
doesn't
yes,
matter.
yes.
Yeah.
Actually, I had a belief, my family know that, my friends know that even those people know that whom I preached, like they knew that I had that belief that if people have guns around me, thousands of people have thousands of guns, okay, and they are firing on me, God still can save me. God has the power. I believe in that, and that is very true. Like in Pakistan, people are falsely accused here and blasphemy, okay, for doing blasphemy against Islam, and people are suffering over that. Muslims, civil Muslim mobs, they burn Christian home and Christians alive. I never had that fear, ever. People told me they will cut my legs on the call, and apparently, like in a person, they threatened me. Nothing happened to me, and not it will happen, because when I was a child, when God gave me the vision that millions of people are preaching, that time actually I got that vision that God called me for a special purpose for end times, and I will be killed. Okay, so I knew that I will be killed, but I also knew that I will not be, this is not my time. So I was more brave. So I'm still more brave. I know that this is not my time.
Yeah. So, when God gave you that vision of you, your siblings, and the team of Holy Light standing there and preaching to millions, that hasn't happened yet.
Yeah.
And there's been many things that haven't happened yet because He gave you a massive vision,
Yes.
right? So what do you do with disappointment? How do you keep moving when in the natural you see nothing changing and if anything getting worse in the
Yes.
natural?
In the Bible, when we read the story of Abraham, he heard the voice of God, and he was following that voice. And I think that not us. Like if it's our hope, we can be hopeless. But when it's the call of God, okay, then you never can be hopeless. Even if you will feel hopeless, still you will follow that call, because that's not us. That is actually the call of the God. That is giving strength to you. That gave strength to Abraham, Moses, and everyone even followed that belief for what God called them. Abraham left his family, okay, and Moses went into the wilderness. And we see about Jesus Christ, like Jesus Christ told his disciples to follow. They were fishermen, and they had the net, and they left the net, and they started to follow. His call has that much power that you cannot leave. You cannot be hopeless. You will continue to say, "Oh yes, God, I'm ready." You have to say. Like there was a moment in my life when I became totally like a secular in my secular job, and I was working professionally and all this stuff, and I was totally into that of my
And that's
career.
because you got kind of, I guess, disheartened. Like in that moment, you didn't see anything happening.
Yeah, you
Right?
can
And
say
it was
that.
a big time in your family where everybody was just kind of crushed.
Yeah. So but the Spirit of God started to touch me there in my office, and in my office I started to pray. I was worshiping, and I started to cry. Spirit was touching me that much that I started to cry, and finally I had to resign and go. Yeah.
It's like He has a hook in you, right?
Yeah,
That no
yeah.
matter what you try to do, He says, "No, my son,
Yes.
like come back to me."
I'm not saying that those people who are doing job they have to resign.
Right.
But that's not true, because every person has different call, and it's also not true that I'm not working yet.
Yeah.
We are working, we are doing business, and of course we have to work. Paul also did work, okay, labor, and he was serving God. So we are doing business and we are serving God. Yeah. But it sometimes happens that you have to neglect your personal career or your personal desires for God.
Right.
Because God has plans at the call of the God. First thing, will never let you go on your way. Okay, you have to follow the call of the God.
What is that personal relationship with Jesus Christ? Since you talk so much about that, you talk about every single person. It's not about meeting or encountering a religion. It's not about going to a church. It's about that personal relationship with Jesus Christ. What does that personal relationship with Jesus Christ mean to you on an everyday
Yes.
basis?
I think I have told you, maybe it's recorded before, that I was born into Christian family, okay? And to born into Christian family, to go to church, cannot have, it's not that you have a relationship with God, or you know God. It's completely 100% true. That if you born in Christian family, it means not that you know Christianity.
Yeah.
It means not that you have a relationship with God.
Right.
You have a relationship with God when you really start to listen His voice, which is in the Bible,
Right.
and you know the truth. If you do not know the truth of the Bible, it means you do not have a relationship with God.
Isn't it so much more fulfilling, the place where you just knew law and Bible and rules and regulations, where there was no relationship, now to the point where you have relationship, where you have depth, where you hear His voice. Why be a Christian if you don't live in the fullness of what He can give you, right?
Yeah.
So many people are missing that. That's why so many people are backsliding, because
Yes.
they don't have that relationship.
Yeah,
with Jesus.
like we were in taking participate in different competitions, okay, and we can call Christians, like in our
We're
family
doing
there were
activities,
prayers,
yeah.
activities, so it is religious Christian,
Right.
unnamely Christian. Still, even if you are praying, if you are going to the church, still it's namely Christians.
Right.
Okay, you only can be true Christian when you truly follow the word of God, when you truly
Amen.
love Jesus
Yes,
Christ,
yes.
and truly understand who Jesus Christ is. He is word of God who came for you, for me, to give us life. He was crucified because the punishment of the sin is death, and He died for me and you to have, so we can have
So
everlasting
powerful,
life.
so powerful. Yes.
So that happened when you know that truth, and like this truth go into your soul or into your spirit, that you start to love and you want to serve Him,
Yeah.
then it means you are Christian.
And wouldn't you say that there's moments of wilderness where there's dryness and you're not feeling sometimes in seasons His constant presence on you all the time, but like you said, you heard His voice.
Yeah.
And if you hold on to that and you hold on to the promises, God will fulfill it, right?
Yes.
And He gives you the strength to mount up like eagles, right?
Yeah.
And to soar over all those situations and circumstances. What's is there another story or testimony of when God's love for you was revealed? Because obviously you can't touch the globe, right, unless you don't first know His love for you and your identity in Him. So what's been a pivotal change in your life, any time in your life from childhood until now, where His absolute passionate love and pursuit for Colleen
Okay,
happens?
my life is full of testimonies,
Yeah.
and I know that every believer have that.
Right, right.
So it encourages us to.
Yes.
Okay. My family tells me that when I born, I was very thin child, like very weak, and my mother was worried about me that maybe I will stay alive or not. And then when I was 11 years old, still I was feeling that I cannot walk. And I said, Jesus Christ, He came in my vision or dream, and then He changed my life. Okay, there are many moments when He showed me His love. There was a moment when we were hungry. Okay, we went to the city. We left our city. Okay, when my friend was converted into Christianity.
Oh yeah, because it was
Okay.
dangerous, right?
Yes,
to
it
go.
was
Yeah.
dangerous for us, so we had to leave that city because his family was searching for
Was
him.
that your home that you had to leave?
Yeah, I have to leave my native city where we had our home. So we left our home and we went to another city, and we knew nobody there. Okay. Then I went to at my relatives' home. No, I didn't went. Sorry, here is the thing, what God did there.
Okay.
Okay. We were laying in the park.
You and your friend.
Yeah, me and my
Because
friend.
you felt the voice of God said not to go? Is that what happened? Or did you leave with your family, or what park were you guys in?
My father suggested me to leave
Okay, okay.
because in that time it was dangerous.
So you were in the park in the new city?
Yes,
Okay.
because in Islam, like anyone who leave Islam, its punishment is death. And anyone who preached to that person, he could also be killed. So that was normal and it could be dangerous for me. So I have to leave that city. And we were okay. We entered into that city in the very early morning.
Right.
Okay, we did breakfast like 5 a.m. or like that, and then we went to the park, and we were praying there. And at 3 or 2, okay, we felt so much hungry, and we slept. Like we prayed to God and we slept. Okay, we had not that much money because we were teenage. And my father also gave me the money, and but we had a fixed things.
Yeah.
So we could not have that much money that we could eat the afternoon or lunch.
Right.
Okay, and we were in the prayer and we slept. Our bags are there. Nobody could steal our bags. We were totally like faint. And also because the spirit of God was that much, and that we even didn't wake up again, like disturbed. You are sleeping in an open park where the public is going on, and you are
had
sleeping.
such a peace. Yeah.
Yes, we were at peace. And the moment we wake up, we prayed, and we're still believing. My friend said, "Oh, God is going to provide us the meal," and we were praying, and we left the park. The moment we left the park, I didn't know about my relatives there. And I saw a man was going there, and he stopped seeing me, called me, and he was our relatives, and he brought us at his home.
Wow.
And there they served us with yummy food. And we thank God.
Wow.
These are those miracles that is in the childhood. It is a list of His love. He pour His love always.
But couldn't you say, like, right now in your life, there can be even more trials that you face as an adult, and as you're starting businesses and you have a global ministry. In those moments where nothing's happening, it's not only just His voice, but it's the testimony where you're building that case, where you have a history
Yes.
of where God showed up.
Yes.
You have a history where it proves His love, His
Yes.
unconditional love, His mercy, His grace, right? So it makes us think, if we start to remember that, then we can't for a moment doubt His goodness. We can't for a moment think it's not going to happen,
Yes.
right? Obviously, the way the devil can stop us is by those lies. And by having us stop remembering all that the Lord did.
Yes.
And if He can get us to forget that, then we get stuck, right? And so many of us go through that all the time, right?
Yes.
But it's so beautiful to hear what God's been doing in your life, what He's been doing for many, many years, and just the complete dependency, that you have on
Yes.
Him. As far as your vision and your mission, where is that at right now? And where do you want to see it grow this year? Like, what is your biggest desire right now for your ministry to see it grow?
For Pakistan, I actually want to build the big church, and I want the verses in Arabic and in Urdu language.
On the outside?
With outside,
Yeah.
on big walls with big words. So Muslims, I do not want formal ministry.
Yeah.
Okay, otherwise I could do that. Okay, those who are doing, that's good. They're serving God. They're serving the Christian community.
Right.
But the call of God for us, and to the disciples, were to reach to the world. Jesus didn't say
That's right.
them that you have to just preach to the Jewish
Jewish
community.
yeah.
Okay, He said to reach to the world,
Yes.
and the same words is for us. We have to reach to the world. And right now Christians are serving God. They are serving at the home, like the Christians who already know Jesus Christ. They could be weak spiritually. Of course, they need spirit. So that's good. But where is our main responsibility? Our main responsibility is to preach the gospel.
Amen.
And then baptize those people who do not know Jesus Christ. That is our actual work. So very few people who are doing actual work, and we want to do that. Otherwise, people are building the big church, and Christians are coming. Okay, Christians are coming, and they are like listening to the word of God. That's good. But where we have to reach to the world. Okay, but people, there are change, transformation in the Western world. People are filled with the Spirit. But to think about a Muslim nation, even to think that there will be a transformation, it's very difficult. Even if believers think or that there will be just amen or prayer, that yes, we are praying for transformation. But to believe that or to act upon that, to work for that, it is difficult. So we want to do. I want the big building, which should call not just the church, okay? Because for Muslims it will be the sin, because for them it's not the mosque. Mosque is for them the home of prayer, the home of Allah. Okay, they call actually Khana Kaaba and the mosque. So they will not go to the church. A few maybe can attend the church, but not all. But I want to build that big building which called Abrahamic Prayer Center, because they believe in Abraham. So it will attract to them. So when they will see the Arabic verses, okay, from their perspective, from their religious book, and from the Bible, then it will attract to them. Like normal people who are walking and they will see, there are verses in Arabic, and they want to go there. And we want to preach to those people.
My life mission is that I am a Christian apologetics man. My teacher was Ahmad Didat in Jamiatul Azhar, Egypt, and I know also Greek, Hebrew, Latin, Aramaic, Arab church history, systematic theology, biblical canon. So I want to train the Christian people, and my life is also for Jesus in Islam. I introduce the Jesus in Islam as a Savior, King of the Kings, and the eternal Logos.
And what's your strategies for that as you have this building? And first of all, like, where would you want that building, and how much would something like that cost? So people out here can invest in that.
But that could cost a lot, but I believe for that.
Are you wanting to own your own piece of land and build a church there, or would you like to just rent something at the beginning?
No, I want to own.
Yeah.
Okay, I want us to own, because if we take rent first,
Then the government.
we are giving the money. No?
Right.
We are giving the money, that is waste. Anytime it's not our. Okay, the property of Jesus in the Old Testament, when we see that God said that wherever your foot, so that land will be given to you. So that is our land. Pakistan or in any country, people have big building in the Western world or in America, big churches. I want the big church here, not just for Christians. I want Muslims to come there and Muslims giving their life to God. And radically, I want radically. Like in my life, in my personal life, not just my one friend converted into Christianity. There are many of my friends. I cannot tell the names here more because it could be seen by other Muslim people. So I do not want them to be elaborated. But there are many of my Muslim friends with whom I debated. I told them where is the mistake, and they prayed with me. Okay, I went into the mosque even to pray with them.
You've even gone to the graves,
Yeah.
right? I mean,
Where they
worship the graves.
in their shrines.
Yeah.
So there are many of my Muslim friends who gave their life to Jesus Christ. So if Jesus Christ can change my life, if Jesus Christ can change my Muslim friend, if Christ can change other Muslim friends or other people, your life, other people's lives, or your life, God can change. It means He can change the other Muslims' lives too. Just we have to tell the truth.
I think it's so important that we give everybody out there an opportunity to sow financially into your ministry. I know you've been doing this for so long by yourself, with God, but your personal finances have gone into this ministry down to the time when you were 11 years old and it was your pocket change. You've never asked for anything.
Yes.
You've just been completely laying down your life. And I know that people out there are looking for ministries, are looking for organizations that are changing the globe, that are changing a nation where it's 95% Muslim. How can they do that? How can they be a part of financially investing in you and also being a part of what you're doing?
Okay. First, here I want to tell that in my childhood, okay, for a long time, we preached. Me and my friend, we take our money, use our money, and earn our money, and use for preaching. And we were reaching to the Christian regions, okay, Christian areas. We were preaching there, and the people want to give us offering, and we told them we do not need that. We are not coming here as a servant of God. We are coming here as the child of God, and we told them to give to the churches. So there is a process of for everything. That time we serve God as His children. Okay, and now I'm not saying that we need money, your money. No, we still believe in God.
Yes.
And we are under that call where He protected us.
Right.
He can provide us all things.
Amen.
He will.
Yes.
So we are not telling people just to give us. No. We want them to give for word of God because that is growing. Okay, if God wants, He can give us millions of dollars to complete that. But God's heart is that all Christians, big ministers, and even normal Christians who love Jesus Christ and who are waiting for Jesus Christ, they need to be a part of it.
Yes.
This end times vision. Our end time vision is not just to preach to Muslims in a normal way. That maybe you heard about the other ministries who are reaching to Muslims. We have a global vision and we want to impact the world. How we will impact the world? Right now, we are writing to Christian governments, okay, and we have worked to them. We have a proper work on that. That's how we will implement the
strategies
God gave to us.
Right.
So governments will be involved with us.
Right.
First, Christians have to involve with us.
Yes.
We want to build a big church here for Muslim Abrahamic prayer center.
Right.
Okay. Then we want to hear the sustainable projects here, so which can empower us, and we can move our sustainability.
Which is called the Changing Lives Project.
Changing Life Project.
And they can go on www.generationofpeacemakers.org and under projects, right?
Yes.
Changing Lives Projects, it has everything about that. At the
Yes.
same time, do you have anything on there about the Abraham?
No, we do not have, because Generation of Peacemakers.org, that is secular organization.
Yeah.
Okay, so we do not show that because we have to work in secular and Muslim world.
Right.
So we have.
So those who are interested though could contact us, or
Yes.
you could write your donation and on there say this is for the church impact.
Yes, and also we have the site kingdomofpeace.world, and that is some spiritual stuff you will see there about little
Super
vision,
powerful.
the window, little
It's
bit.
like your blog kind of.
Yes.
Yeah.
And other people who are in the US, they can even give to jubainabad.com. Jubainabad Ministries in the United States of America. So they can give to that.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah. So I just want to let you know that it's I know that when you're talking about the Spirit of God, you can go on and on and on and on and on and on. You never will stop talking about the goodness of God.
Yes.
But I really want more than anything, because it's so evident that obviously God's hand is powerfully upon your life. I want you to pray for everyone watching, that the Spirit of God touches them, and whatever it is that their calling is, that they would rise up and begin to walk in that, and fiercely and passionately. Not everyone's called to give their life in the way of where I know I'm going to die. You know what I mean? I don't care if guns are shot at me. You know, not everyone's called to that, but everyone's called to something. and a lot of them need to go back, just like you, go back to the testimonies of what God did in their life and start walking that now. So could you just pray for everyone watching us today?
Sure, let's pray.
Yeah.
So we know, and God knows, He's listening to us right now, that you are child of God. We are child of God. We all are the children of God. And we are working for our Father's harvest. We are working for our Father's kingdom. We have to advance it. How? It's by establishing the offices, the royal office into different nations. And you have to be partnered with us. May God trust you. And may you be the ambassador of kingdom of peace into your nation. And you be united with us. And we reach together to Muslim and to the secular world. And then governments will start to join us, and we will bring transformation into the nations. And may His name be glorified through all of us, our all actions in Him. May His name, His word be glorified. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. It was so wonderful having
Yes.
you here, and thank you for sharing your heart, your beautiful testimony, and your passion for God. Thank you so much for joining us.
Yes.
Generation of Peacemakers channel. Be blessed, be blessed, be blessed.
And may God touch your life right now, to your family, and to
Yes,
you.
yes. And everyone watching that has any sickness, any disease, I just declare complete healing over your body.
Yes.
And the desires of your heart to be fulfilled and every dream awakened in the name of Jesus.
Just stand as a warrior of God.
Yes.
When God is giving you
Amen.
to stand, understand you are so much powerful.
Amen.
God bless you.
Amen.